friends, it's Strawberry Witch, and today I'm doing a flip through of my D&D art journal. Excuse if you hear rain in the background or dogs barking. It's raining, just pretend it's ambiance that I put in here on purpose. Anyways, so this is going to be my commentary flip through of this journal. If that's not your thing and you'd rather just see a flip through without me blabbing, there is a no commentary journal up with just some music and a flip through. So if you're ready, we're gonna get started. So this bad girl is fucking stacked. She's full. And about half of these spreads, I think, are videos. So if you're interested to see videos of me doing these spreads and you've never seen them before, they're also on my channel. About half of these are. I'll let you know when I started recording. I started this journal back in 2023, but this past year I've really been focused on finishing it. So this is a journal that my friend Yelhsa designed for me. It's a strawberry in a witch hat on a crochet hook. It's absolutely beautiful. And I had this journal, look, it's broken. It's so fucking full. I had this journal for a while and I didn't know what to do with it. So when I started it, I actually started it as a sticker book because I'm someone with sticker anxiety, and I was like, oh, let me just make a little sticker book for all these stickers that I don't know where to put. So I did start as a sticker book. But the first spread I have, look, it's so full that the pictures are starting to come off. I'm gonna have to tape them down. But the first spread I did is Yelhsa. Now, Yelhsa was my first ever D&D character I created, and I played her in a campaign called Falsehood Godhood with some other friends at the time. And we didn't finish that campaign, but she has always been so close to my heart because, you know, your first character that you make has a lot of like self-insert in it. So very precious to me. She is a tiefling death domain cleric. She worships the goddess Shar. And so one thing I really love about this journal is you'll get to see my improvement. I did a little bit of art journaling back in 2018. I did finish an art journal, but it was just like emotions fueled. So this is kind of where I'm at in the beginning in terms of my art journaling. And then we move on to the next character, which is Mythica. She was the second ever character I created. She is a drow rogue. I don't remember what kind of rogue she is. She might be a trickster rogue. I might be making that up. Dark magic. So what is the name of that? Shadow sorcerer? I don't remember what it's called. I haven't played her in combat in a while. As you can see, she has a moth motif, a moon motif, and crows, which are related to her backstory. And I really like this page. Her aura was a warm chaos. It definitely was. Little moth, little feathers. Stargazer, which is will come into play later. And here it is. So this is Sylvia and Mythica. So Sylvia is very star-coded, which is why I had that picture on Mythica's that said Stargazer. That picture was a paint sample. Because they were best friends, and then they ended up dating before Sylvia lost her memories. So we have these two pictures. Sylvia is my friend Yelhsa's character. Half of the characters in this journal are Yelhsa's. But Sylvia is Yelhsa's character, and one of the main characters is Shattered Memories. She is butterfly themed, star themed, and I wanted this to look like kind of a Polaroid, you know? So when you flipped both pictures, sort of look like a Polaroid. So that was kind of what I was going for. Oh, also to mention, all of the art, like all of the prints in this journal, were art made by Yelhsa. So everyone say thank you, Yelhsa, for her hard work and dedication. Okay. So yeah, I liked how this came out. I like the butterflies surrounded by the moons. It was perfect. And then the moon sent me to you. Also very cute. Next is Marathon. She was part of Falsehood Godhood. Her and Yelhsa were best friends. This is Yelhsa's character. And her motif is lotuses. Big time. So this is one of my favorite spreads because I got so creative with it where I cut out the individual pieces of lotus. And the camera's kind of blowing it out, so they kind of like meld together. Let me see if I can pull it closer so you can see the details, because it looks kind of funky. There you go. See it? Looks more lotusy now, so you can see how I cut out each individual pieces. Marathon is a Triton fighter. Don't ask me what subclass. I don't actually know. But very lotus themed and likes to write in a journal, so I put this like script in the back. I really like how this one turned out. I was very proud. At the time, I was losing my mind. but I was very proud of this lotus. And you'll see as we go through this that I lose my mind because I keep constantly trying to do better, more unique ideas, so you'll see. Now, since Falsa Gatha ended, Yelhsa and I felt like Marathon and Erisia's stories weren't over, so we're doing a campaign called The Lotus and the Scythe. Obviously, Lotus. Erisia has a big red and black, almost Soul Eater vibe scythe, and so that's where the title came from. And this poem, in this campaign, Erisia writes poems. She wrote this poem after an encounter, kind of having a flashback of her trauma. So Erisia wrote this poem called My Mouth Has Holes. And we have a dark and light version of her photo. Very cute, very cute. We have some pressed flowers. I press a lot of flowers into this journal. Erisia and Marathon in this campaign really have a love of flowers. So a lot of flower motifs for these two. I'm not gonna read the whole poem because that's gonna make this video longer than it already is going to be. So you can pause and read it. I really like this poem. I think Erisia channeled a lot of emotions into it. And then we have the Shattered Memories page. So this is the campaign I am DMing. Oh, I'm DMing the TLATS campaign, by the way. This is the campaign I'm DMing. And I put all the characters' names over here. And then put all of their portraits. And the campaign is a memory loss campaign for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For these 5. So they wake up underneath an autumnal tree during the middle of the summer solstice festival in a country that they cannot remember. They cannot remember anything about themselves besides their names and basically like that innate feeling of how to use their magic or their weapons. But other than that, they don't remember anything. And so I kind of wanted it to look like broken glass in the back, which I think is really cool. So we have Sylvia, which belongs to Yelhsa. We have Killian, which belongs to Asha. We have Anastasia, which belongs to Danny, and then we have Flask and Azazel, which belong to Nerdy. I will get into more later on when we get to their personal spreads of why Nerdy plays 2 characters. Unfortunately, Killian and Anastasia, their players are no longer with us, so we have these 3 still here, but it was a great time while they were with us. And this was the kind of intro page of the Shattered Memories era in this journal. So we start off with each character. We have Sylvia, and it was funny because when I did this, I was gonna go for a more purple-green vibe like Sylvia is, but it ended up being a yellow-pink-black-purple vibe, which I really ended up loving. These pictures of Sylvia are absolutely gorgeous, and I really like this sticker I found with the holding the stars in the hands, and Sylvia loves to play music, so she has a moon lyre up there, and I got the music in the background, the stars. I genuinely love how this spread came out. Then we have Anastasia. Anastasia is an Eladrin. Oh my gosh, I didn't tell y'all. Sylvia is a cleric. She's a Twilight cleric. I almost said Twilight Sanctuary. She's a Twilight cleric. She follows the goddess Saloon, and she is an Eladrin Dampier. Yes. Okay. Then we have Anastasia. Anastasia is also an Eladrin, if you can't tell. She was an assassin rogue, and on this side, I have her winter form, which her hair, if you can tell, is kind of based off of a pine tree covered in snow. So that's what I did here, and put pine forest paint sample down here, and gave it a really blue vibe. Over here, I wanted more of a springtime vibe, so we've got lots of greens and flowers to match her spring form, which I really love it because these 2 forms don't even look like the same person. Like, if she didn't have the scars, you wouldn't be able to tell that it was the same person. So I really like how Yelhsa designed, you know, the difference. Really, very much a big spring transformation. And then we have Killian. Killian is a Pact of the Talisman, Great Old One Warlock. I never know how to talk about the subclasses of warlocks. And she's a half-orc. And Killian was a follower of the ancient Udragoth. Ancients are basically the beginning of creation. They are the raw energies of the world, in my world. And Udragoth is the king is the ancient of murder and vengeance. So when she woke up, she just had this being talking in her brain, and after she kind of remembered a little bit about him, he was basically telling her, "You're my sage. You got to go kill people and sacrifice them to me, so I can get out of here." Because he's been sealed off. And so she was kind of leading this double life of not telling her friends what she was doing, because she was afraid that if she told them, she would have to sacrifice them. And so she was really insecure about that. So that's why we've got the fire here. This is her sacrificial dagger called Grimseaver. And then I found this quote that was perfect for her, which said, "The man who fears losing has already lost." I really like that. Killian was a very complex character that was a lot of fun to work with. And then we have Flasky. So we've got Flask. That's not Azazel. And Azazel right here. So as I said, Nerdy plays two characters. The reasoning because Flask is an artificer, alchemist. And one day he created a potion and blew up in his face. And out came this guy named Azazel. This guy right here. It's a very complex system. It's two people in one body. So when Flask or Azazel reach a certain amount of points due to stress or things like that, they both have different triggers. But when they reach a certain amount of points, they'll change into the other one. So same soul, not same soul, different soul, same body. So Flask is like 3 foot and a little satyr. He is, like I said, an artificer, alchemist. And he has tattoos on his back of potions. And they're in the shape of angel wings. And each potion stands for a person that he helped or saved. And there's one potion on his back that is not filled because that is for his sick mother that he lost memories of, and he doesn't know where she is, and he wasn't ever able to help her. And that's kind of what he was doing when Azazel was created, was that he was looking for a cure for his mother. So we've got the wings. These took me forever. I did these on a stream. And Flask also loves music a lot. He plays the pan flute. And so we've got this. And we've got sunflower. I always associate Flask with sunflowers. And then the butterfly, because Flask has, I don't know if he still does, but he had a pretty big crush on Sylvia. So that's the butterfly. And then we have Azazel. Azazel is everything Flask is not when he first came out. He's changed a lot. He's been through a lot. But in the beginning, he was supposed to be everything that Flask wasn't. So Flask was easily embarrassed, very naive, very shy. And Azazel was very, like, much a playboy, very sure of himself, very suave. He's, like, 6 foot. You know, he's got, like, bigger horns than Flask does. He, you know, dresses very differently. So he, in the beginning, was the opposite of Flask. He's changed a lot. He's been through a lot. But we have the 3 crosses up here that represent 3 people that Azazel lost. It's the tattoo that he has on his neck. You can barely see it. Well, you can't see it from here, but he does have that tattoo on his neck. And then this gemstone represents, right here, a gift that was given to him by these friends that he lost. Here comes Kaze. So I think the easiest way to explain Kaze's story, he's basically my DMPC that was never supposed to be a DMPC. I didn't want a DMPC, but here we are. He was supposed to be one of the first arc's big bads. He was supposed to be dead, and he is a vampire fighter. Currently, he is a vampire fighter monk, samurai fighter, Way of the Firebender monk. He was supposed to be one of the villains. He is a fire genasi vampire. But Sylvia met him, and they bonded over the mutual fact that they are vampires and that they are not accepted in this world, because the whole reason that Kaze was on the bad guy's side was because he was turned and his friends tried to kill him because he was a vampire. So, you know, that whole idea that vampires are not accepted and they're monsters, they're demons. And Kaze was manipulated by the main bad guy, Florana, which we'll get to in a second. Lied to, manipulated, and so that's why he ended up on the bad guy's side. Sylvia found out his story and converted him with love. So now he's the main part of this fucking group, whether I like it or not. which is why I have this quote, "We all eat lies when our hearts are hungry." This is his master sword, the katana, that when his master died, he kept with him. And then I did my best at doing some kanji over here. And now we have Sylvia and Kaze. They are dating. They have been dating the majority of the majority. 2/3 of the campaign? Anyways, this was the scene. Oh, you can't see it. This was the scene of really when Sylvia and Kaze had like a heart to heart, and Sylvia started to see that he wasn't as evil as he was trying to pretend he was. And then this was the day that they ended up starting to date, because Kaze took her out on a really nice date to see fireflies, because she had no memories of seeing fireflies. And then we have this pink butterfly that represents her, and then this red butterfly that represents Kaze. In here, which is going to take me 5,000 years to get out, we have all of the poems they've written each other. We've had all the poems that they've written each other, which is very cute, and I put them in this little envelope here. So I really like this spread. I think this is also one of my favorites. And we have another Kaze and Sylvia spread, because we also went crazy with the Kaze Sylvia art, which I'm very happy about. So we have a feeding picture, and it says, "She is home to me." And then this is a picture of their first kiss, which has a light and dark version, which I fucking love this picture. I think it's very nice. And then over here we have, this picture to me is like the epitome of their relationship. This is how they look at each other. This is what their love looks like. And then we have a sun, because Kaze is very sun-coded. And we have the star, which is little Sylvia. Next, we have another Kaze spread. So this one, I think this is my second favorite spread in this journal. So these are pictures that Kaze's friend at the time, Genesis, painted for him for New Year's, I think, which was super gorgeous. And this spread was a challenge, because I usually associate Kaze with dark reds, blacks, golds. But because of the brightness of these pictures, I went for more pinks and greens, and it was a lot of fun. It was a really nice challenge, and these pictures are gorgeous. And I put a butterfly here representing Sylvia, a rose here representing Darius, which we'll get to in just a minute, and a feather here representing Genesis, which is the 3 most important people in Kaze's life. Here are the main big bads for the first arc. We have Lavina, which was the fake name she was going by because she had taken the place of the mayor. Her real name is Florana. She is a kitsune, and when she turned, she had like 3 heads. It's pretty cool. And then her right-hand man, which was a man named, his fake name was Priel, but he went by the name, his real name was Onich. He was an incubus, succubus. I don't remember which one is the male version. And then over here, we have Cinna, everyone's fan favorite. He is a human divination wizard. So these 2 are dead. Cinna escaped, and he actually goes on to become one of the most powerful people in another country, which everyone in the campaign absolutely loved. They love this guy. He's not condescending. He's not an asshole. He's not a piece of shit at all. So they love him very much. And I like this picture because this picture kind of is what I imagined the city where everyone was in, Averia, it looked like. Then we have the Silver Song Guard. Now, the Silver Song Guard are actually fan favorites. They are the country that the main story takes place is called Vanlore. It's an autumnal country, which is why we've got all of the autumn themes going on. But this is the most powerful guard. They're like the Baron's, who's the leader of the country. They're like the Baron's private guard. And they are the most powerful people in this country. We have Naki, who is the grave? Yeah, what is it called? The grave domain. That's what it's called. Graveyard. Same thing. Cleric. She is a marionette. If we pull a little bit closer, you'll get to see the stitches on her face. Let's see. Can you see them? Let me pull a little bit closer. She's got a stitched up mouth, and she is a marionette. She's a puppet. She is a doll that that had consciousness and prayed for a very long time to be real so she could play with her owners, who are usually, kids and stuff. And a god named Calaxia, which is a homebrew god, he heard her cries and brought her to life. Down here we have Taraji. She is a human path of the ancestral guardian barbarian. Couldn't remember the word. She hasn't been in the campaign much because she's been gone for a lot of it, but they did meet her early on and got a little taste of what she's like. And then over here we have the fan favorite, especially mine, Akash. He is a tiefling blood hunter, and he is a lot. He's got his little blood swords down here. He is incredibly intelligent, but because he acts so flamboyant and silly, and he's full of himself, nobody takes him seriously. Nobody takes him seriously, even though he's one of the most powerful men in the country. And over here we have the first soldier, which is like second in command, Lady Mingyue. She's a Tabaxi Way of Mercy monk. And she's actually from the country south of Vanlore called Mathan, but she had a love for both countries, and Vanlore is like really in a bad spot, so she agreed when she was recruited to help out Vanlore. But she's also a prominent figure in Mathan as well. So she's a very teacher-like figure that has spent a lot of time, probably out of everyone has spent the most time with the group, because she's currently on a mission with them to Mathan. And I think a lot of them have come to respect her and look up to her. And then we have the guard captain, Evander. He was, I think, the first NPC that the group ever met. He is very stoic, very quiet. He is a battle master. No, is he a battle master? Yes, he's a battle master fighter, Elven. And he is the leader of this team. The group has seen him a little bit, but I'd say the ones that the group has seen the most is definitely Lady Mingyue and Akash in passing. So now we go on to a group of people that are part of the Blood Hunters, and they are called the Golden Serpent. I didn't put that title anywhere because I'm a fucking idiot, but let's go through them. We have Arwen. He is let me preface. These are Yelhsa's characters. None of the Golden Serpent are mine. Okay? Cool. This is Arwen. He's a changeling. He looks like a Air Genasi. And he is, oh my god, I love him so much. He's great. I love him so much. Then we have Inslo, one of the hottest men in Lustil, the capital in Vanlore. Everybody wants this man. He's the one that owns the Golden Serpent, which is a bar. Then we have Darius, which I mentioned earlier. And this is Kaze's best friend and husband, technically. Anyways. He is a lot like Arwen. Arwen basically raised him. He is a lot. He is a mess, and I love him very dearly. Then we have Katla. Look at her. She is a foin. Oh, I forgot to mention, Inzel's a cleric. Darius is a barbarian, and they're all blood hunters, so they're either, I think they're all multi-class, but some maybe, I don't think any are strictly blood hunter. But then we have Katla. Look at her. She's absolutely gorgeous. I actually have no fucking idea what her class is, but I know she's a vampire, drow, something else, but I don't remember. She is probably the one that I see the least amount of in the Golden Serpent, simply because she's just so fucking busy all the time. I love this spread. So let me point that out first and foremost, because I love the accents of the shiny colors on here. Oh, it's so simple, but I really love the way it turned out. So then we have Koa. I don't think I know what Koa's class is either. Is it Rogue? I may be making that up. But he's a specter. Some kind of ghost dude. He just turns invisible sometimes. Whether he, initiates it or not. No, I think I've seen the least of Koa. I don't know. Koa and Katla are kind of like in the running together. And then we have Yelhsa. This is one of Kaze's dearest friends. They love to fight. They love to scrap. She's a monk, so it's very always interesting to see a monk and fighter go at it. She's also one of the main reasons that Kaze took levels in monk, because he wanted to kick her ass. He wanted to kick her ass even more. So they're really fun together. They just argue like siblings. I know Kaze does consider her like a sister, so they're very cute. Then we have dear old Genesis, which I mentioned earlier. Genesis was one of Kaze's best friend, essentially, outside of Darius and Sylvia. He has a lot going on, which I'll explain in a few pages. At the time, him and Kaze were very close. He's a very reserved dude that Kaze helped break out of his shell forcibly. And they became really close, and now current day they're actually dating. So, fun how that works. He's a tiefling fighter. Don't know what his subclass is, but I'm pretty sure he's a fighter. And then we have the lovely Moriko. So, starting from here, these spreads have been recorded. Besides this one and a couple of others, pretty much all of these spreads have videos. I'll let you know which ones don't, and then just assume all the others do. I have a playlist, so you can go look at that. Now, I'm talking about these characters in the perspective of Kaze, because Kaze, in the beginning, we did like a side mini-campaign thing where Kaze met all these characters, and it was just me playing Kaze, and Yelhsa DMing. It was kind of like co-DMing, which was a lot of fun. Co-DMing, when you trust the other person, I don't know, it was just great. Co-DMing is so fun. I talk about them in respect to Kaze because Kaze is the one that knows them the best and considers himself close with all of these people. So that's why I'm saying, oh, Kaze, instead of the main Shattered Memories group. Sylvia does know them, and she has hung out with several of them. They have such a profound impact on Kaze's life, so that's why I talk about them with respect to Kaze. Moriko is one of Kaze's dearest friends, and I don't even know how to get into the chosen thing. I'm not going to bore y'all with all the lore, but just know that she died at one point. She was kidnapped and died, and it absolutely just distraught Kaze. She ended up coming back because she was being experimented on. Yay. But she is back, still recovering. But Kaze does love her very much. She's got a lot going on. I know she's like, half-orc, goblins, something else. And I think she's a ranger. She's got a lot going on. But she is absolutely fucking insane. And we love her for it. Over here we have Illume. She is an honorary member of the Golden Serpent, much like Kaze, meaning she's not a blood hunter. She was just kind of adopted because Darius brought her in, and so she is allowed in and out of the Golden Serpent, and I don't know if she knows about blood hunters. She's kind of a ditz, but she is allowed in and out of the Golden Serpent despite not being a blood hunter. Kaze does know about blood hunters, but he is also an honorary member. He is not one of them. He never wants to be one of them. So Illume is a cute little rabbit. She is a fan favorite of Azazel. Azazel absolutely loves this little bunny. He would die for this bunny. And she loves rainbows and wonder and happiness. So I tried to cram as many rainbows and bunnies as I could into this spread. And Yelhsa made this little sticker of her, which is so fucking cute. Oh, her ear is coming off. And we got a bunny here, and we got a little bunny here. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little bunny sticker. A little bunny here. And I love this rainbow because I cut each individual one of these pieces out to make this rainbow. So... And this right here is actually cloth. It's not paper. So I put a lot of work into this spread. There is no video of this spread, unfortunately. I didn't decide to make videos until I did Moriko's video. Alright. The Genesis. I have to explain a little bit about him and his situation. Because his name... He goes by the name Genesis, but his name is actually Kaze. The Genesis is a title given to people in his family who I think are normally fire genasi, but they are born as tieflings with no soul because they are born to be sacrificed. Um, fucking crazy. But he escaped when he was young thanks to his sister, and his family has not found him yet. He's way past the sacrifice due date. I think the sacrifice due date is like 18 or 19 and he's 30 something. The blood hunters have been hiding him from his family and doing a successful job so far. And all of these tattoos that you see along his back and his horns and his face, they're not actually tattoos, they're scars because he bleeds gold. And they are a ritual. They are the sacrifice ritual. So as you can see, his is pretty advanced, probably almost complete, but he managed to escape. So that's why this is called the Genesis, because these people that are born, these tieflings that are born without souls, are called the Genesis every time. So here, Genesis is not a name. It is a title, and he just wants to live. You know, I mean, why wouldn't you? So what I did here was I put a lot of like blue and gold. I painted this, and then I used gold nail polish to make these cracks, and I put glitter down here. He's a big musician, so I put a piece of music that's titled A Wish because I thought that was fitting for him. We've got birds. He loves birds, which is why his symbol is like a feather a lot of times. And I actually put an actual quote from Jin here, where him and Kaze were having like an argument slash, well, not an argument, disagreement slash deep talk about his situation. And Jin was talking about how he's a burden to everyone around him because they are going to die because of him. And Kaze was like, no, blah, 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 blah. We don't, we don't think that way. We want to help you. And Jin basically said, every best thing I've ever had has been taken from me. That's what he said to Kaze. And that was just such a powerful line to me. So I put it here. And then I also dripped blue candle wax all over the page. And this is probably my favorite spread, to be honest. This is probably my favorite spread I've ever done. I think just all of the symbolism behind it and all of the little elements that I put in it to really represent Kosei and being the Genesis. Just, it's mwah, chef's kiss, you know? Then we have Darius. Lovely, lovely Darius. I saw a lot of people on TikTok doing this thing where they put stickers around kind of like a frame and then cut the middle out. So that's what I was trying to do here. I've got actual rose petals because as you can see, roses are his thing. Lotus is too. He's got a black lotus tattoo. Him and Marathon are best friends. So they both got matching lotus tattoos. And I did the thing again where I wanted it to, whoa, my fingernail got stuck. Where I wanted it to look like a frame on both sides. Which I quite like. And another rose petal and some pink roses down here. Then we move on to NPCs. So we're back into my NPCs territory. These are Kaze's two best friends outside of the Golden Servant. These are the normies. We've got Tora, who is a human Way of Shadow monk. And he's very quiet. He's very thoughtful. He's very talented in fighting, though he doesn't like fighting that much. And his fighting name is the Black Tiger, so he's got his little tiger down there. He's got all these books. He loves gardening. Him and Kaze love talking about gardening. And then over here we've got Mika. He is a pink tiefling Way of the Beast barbarian. Exact opposite aesthetics, right? He loves pink and rainbows. Him and Alume are best friends. He says he is her high priestess, and because she's a cleric. And I have this really cute little Mika sticker that Yelhsa made, and then this bear sticker because Mika loves bears. And it got the you can't really see it, but his bottom little icon. His bottom little icon is a crown on a pillow because he's a pillow princess. So and these two are dating. They've liked each other for a while. Mika was confused about his feelings. He didn't know what he was feeling. But Tora has liked Mika since he met him. And they finally got together. Woohoo! So, love opposite aesthetic couples. Then we have the Lavender Dreams crew. So the Lavender Dreams is a cafe that Sylvia frequents. These are some of her dearest friends. Honestly, I think Daisy and Xavius are probably two of her best friends, if not best. IES. So we have the owner of the Lavender Dreams, Claude, and his little pal, Glitter. She's a red panda, but she's a ghost. She helped save Claude's life, so she sticks around. And she can actually shapeshift into any animal, but she often takes the form of a red panda. And then down here we have Daisy, lovely, lovely Daisy. She's a unicorn, and she is the baker of the cafe. And she's very fun, very silly, very competitive, loves baking, and hangs out with Illume a lot because she considers Illume a master baker. And then we have Xavius. I love Xavius a lot. He is very fun to play. I love seeing him come out of his shell because he was a very quiet, reserved person in the beginning. But now, through meeting Sylvia and Sylvia ing his bullies and him starting dating his best friend at the time, Sinja, he really has come out of his shell. He's really come out of his shell, and I love that for him. He is a master dancer. He used to do ballet, but then his bullies broke his ankle, so he's been looking in different types of dance, such as pole dancing and ice skating. So this is the Lavender Dreams crew, and I wanted pastels, obviously, and I have some actual real pressed flowers here and here. This is a forget-me-not, and here, and then I actually have some actual dried lavender up here. Speaking of Xavius, this is when I started going crazy, trying to do really off-the-wall things. So this is I think our first couple page, which is Xavius and Sinja. If you remember, I just mentioned Sinja. Whoa. Sinja's a bee fairy. He's a bee fairy bard. And these two have been best friends for like 5 years. Xavius has been in love with Sinja for a very long time, but he thought Sinja kept friend zoning him. Unfortunately, they were both in love with each other, but didn't ever say anything. Sinja had like a really traumatic experience with his ex, and so I think that kind of pushed him even more away from the idea of dating Xavius because of that not worthy mindset, which was very unfortunate. But these two were meant to be. These two are that couple of I will find you in every life. You know, these are soulmates. These two are soulmates. So that's why I have over here this quote that says, "My soul was made to love yours." I really wish I would have done a quote from these two. I didn't think about it at the time, and I don't know the next time I will have or I'll be able to do art of these two. Oh, but I absolutely love them. I love their aesthetic. It's very much my aesthetic. But I wish I had used a quote of them, but in the future. And Xavius' favorite animal, guess what it is? Bees. So, like I said, these two were meant to be, and the nickname we have for these two is the babies. So, I crocheted these little bees. And I glued them in here. And then you have the picture. Look at how in love these two are. They both dance. They met at ballet. Look at how in love they are. Do you see that? Look at this gaze. Gaze. Do you see this? Look at that gaze. They are in love. They're gay, Your Honor. Anyways. So, yeah, I got some dried flowers down here. I have a video of this spread as well. It was a lot of fun to do. These bees about drove me crazy, though. But they came out really well. So that's all that matters, right? Oh, it's stuck. Okay. Wahoo! Oops. Wahoo! This really added some chunk to my journal. Now we have some more NPCs. These are Yelhsa's NPCs, these four. So here's Sinja, which is the one we were just talking about. Mr. Bee Fairy Bard. Then we have Furaha. She was Sinja's roommate, ex-roommate, because obviously Sinja and Xavius live together now. And like a really dear friend, she helped him a lot when he was going through all those problems. She actually is the one that got rid of Sinja's ex. He is not dead, unfortunately, but she got him excommunicated from the city. And then we have Annika. Annika is a snake lady. I don't know if she's specifically a Yanti, but she's a snake lady. And I really like this gold that I put back here, this washi tape. It looks like snakeskin, yeah. And she's very smart, and she be knowing. She's very old, so she has a lot of knowledge. And then we have Ez. Ez is absolutely fucking insane. He is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And he's a satyr tiefling, if I'm not mistaken. And he loves to experiment, so that's why we have like a little cauldron and a little jar over here. Now, these were the first friends that Genesis made outside of Kaze's influence. So these were the group that he hung out with all the time, which was very exciting. Kaze was very excited that Jin made friends and got out of his room. So next we have our second couple spread, which is Ez and Ryu. Ryu is my character, Ez is Yelhsa's character. And Ryu is also fucking insane. So this, we refer to this couple as Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, or Cocoa Puffs for short, because they are nuts. And to clue you in on how nuts they are, and the point of this spread, Ryu bought some illegal fireworks and took Ez out to experiment and, use them. And they misfired, lit a building on fire. And as the building was going up in flames, Ryu was like, wow, Ez, I'm in love with you. And Ez was like, wow, me too. And then they made out in front of the fire. So that's why I have these little fireworks here. And I actually, if I can grab it, made it to where they go up. Like they're shooting off. This took me 1,000 years. And it made me lose my mind. But there's a video up on this if you want to see how it's done. That's why we've got glitter everywhere. It's supposed to look chaotic as they are. And the quote says, we are on the same frequency because they are freaks. No mistaking it. They are the definition of freak. And then this quote up here that says, let's cause a little trouble. And this orange in the background that kind of looks like the flames, Here's Ryu's page. So Ryu is a half Dragonborn, Aqua Dragonborn. He's a mess. Like, this is all I gotta say. He loves tattoos, obviously, and he loves skateboarding, which I have this little skateboard sticker. This was not in the original video because I found this later on, but I had to put it in here. And I cut these out because I liked the idea of them looking like dragon scales. And over here is his best friend, Cressida. They actually used to date for a bit, but then they were like, nah, this ain't working out. But they still remain best friends. They have matching flower tattoos. So Ryu has an orchid and Cressida has Lily of the Valley. She's the tattoo artist of this city. She gives most people their tattoos, and she's very fun. She's just a chill girl, but like can be rowdy and have fun when she wants to. But I love her gothic aesthetic. These two both have big gothic aesthetics. His is more punk, though. His is more skater boy punk. Hers is more like actual goth. But they're besties, and they complement each other. Okay, here is probably my third favorite spread I've ever done. So this is Sonara and Nami. And these are two of Sylvia's best friends. And Sonara is a pink mermaid, and Nami is a Triton. And so that's why I found this paper, and it looked like water. It looked like water. So I had to use it. And I love the way the spread came out. I cut out these waves, and we've got stickers of all kinds of sea creatures, little mermaid tail. I cut out this pink mermaid tail. And then I glued on these little pearlescent beads that I had. And I also glued them on here because they look like pearls. They look like pearls. Let me pull it up close so you can see a little better. See, they look like pearls, so I was pretty excited about that. This is another one of my favorite spreads. I think it came out great. I just love how bright it is and how unique looking it is. And I got to use all these fucking aquatic stickers that I've never used before. Alright, so these two spreads I do not have videos because I did them while I was in the US. This is the Baron. This is the head honcho of Van Lore. And he's a very fun guy. He doesn't seem to take things very seriously despite his position, and he seems to kind of put a lot of the responsibility off on his guard, as far as the characters know, as of right now. But there's actually a lot more to this guy than meets the eye. That should be revealed soon, but we went for a very autumnal theme given where he's from and where he rules, and then we have the Silver Song Guard logo up here. Over here we have Canella, who has a connection with Azazel. She was Azazel's boss. She runs a bar called the Scarlet Eclipse, which is where Azazel worked. And she is a Water Genasi rogue. I don't remember what kind of rogue she is. I think it's a homebrew. But she has a big involvement in the story, but the characters don't know that yet. She's more so in the underground part of the story. And she's that rogue that has soul tokens. I don't remember what rogue that is, but this is her soul token. This is what it looks like, which this symbol stands for shadow. And they're all up here. She was an experiment when she was young, and her heart was replaced with a box, question mark? I don't remember. It's been a long time since I looked at her backstory. But her heart was replaced with like a box, essentially. And they put a bunch of stuff in it, including this soul token. And they did some other stuff to her too. And now she has this power of the soul token. So she works closely with the Baron and the Silver Song Guard. Now we're getting back into the spreads that do have videos. Over here we have Seihi. She's the residential... What do you call it? She's the residential fortune teller. And everybody goes to her for any type of reading, but mostly tarot readings. So that's why we have this astrology sticker and this sticker. We have like a star map. We have her sign, which is Sagittarius. She has a tarot card at the top of her frame, which is the Empress. And then over here we have her apprentice, Yelhsa. Yelhsa is specifically specializing in bone readings, so bone throwings. So she answers a lot of yes/no questions. And she's finally gotten to a point where she is actually getting out of that apprentice status. She was important to Anastasia. Her and Anastasia were dating. Now that Anastasia is gone in the story, she's grappling with that, but also finding ways to, how do I say without spoiling this? Get around it. So we have her sign down here, Gemini, and she has a much different, like, dark green. She's like Beetlejuice vibe. She's also another gothic character. She's very Beetlejuice vibes. That's what I feel when I look at this page. And then we have more Sylvia, the lovely, lovely Sylvia. So this is like baby Sylvia. Over here we have baby Sylvia with her father. He's very young in this picture, Alton. And then over here we have Sylvia with her first wolf companion named Mooney. He's got a little crescent moon on his forehead. So these two pages are also really nice because I like how bright they are. And then I got this big butterfly to represent her dad, and then this small butterfly to represent her. So I really love these two pictures. I love seeing baby Sylvia. It's a very unique perspective that if Yelhsa had not drawn these characters, then you'd have never seen. Which leads us into Sylvia's backstory, her backstory characters, the Moonlit Trinity, if this will turn around. The Moonlit Trinity. Sylvia was part of a traveling troupe that put on performances called the Moonlit Trinity. Yelhsa owns all these characters. She came up with them. And first we have Alton, which is Sylvia's father. And like I said, they perform, so we've got music. And then we have Luan and Isla. They're like the main three. They're the one that formed this troupe. They're the adults, as I call them. Even though all the other kids in the troupe are adults, but these are just the adults. And so on the back of this, I have the list of everyone in the troupe, all the members of the troupe. I am twisting the hell out of this. And since it's moonlit, I put moons. Now here we have Sylvia and Janice. So they are a fun duo. They actually used to date, but Sylvia ended up breaking up with Janice because Sylvia had a lot of insecurities about the fact that she was a Dampier. So she thought that she didn't deserve Janice. Sad, sad. But we have Sylvia on this side and a little star. Whoa. a little star in the butterfly envelope. And then over here we have Janice. And I colored up this little wolf because Janice is a druid, but the main wild shape form she takes is a wolf. So I colored up this entire fucking wolf. But I think it turned out great, and I love the moon, howling at the moon. And then we have the last two of the troop. We have Artem and Ymir. Artem is basically like Sylvia's brother. She grew up with him. They are about the same age, I think. So they're very close. They bicker like siblings. They are siblings, essentially. And then we have Ymir. I think he was the last to join the troop officially. And he's very quiet and reserved. When Mythica stayed with them, which is the pre-campaign thing Sylvia and I did with Mythica before Sylvia lost her memories, Mythica and Ymir got really close. They became besties, which is that same dynamic of the loud person pulling the, reserved, quiet person out of their shell. Then we have some more Sylvia prints. I like to call this page the Sylvia dump. That's essentially what it is. It's just extra pictures I had of Sylvia. So here's her in her performance outfit. And then here is an anime version of Sylvia. Yelhsa talked about possibly doing anime styles of all the characters, which I would love to see. And then we have another Sylvia emote, Sylvia Heart and Sylvia Huh, which are very cute. I love this anime eye too. I thought it fit well with the anime vibe. Then we have another Flask and Azazel picture. I call this one Reflections because I made this with the thought that this is a mirror, which is an actual plastic piece that I put in here, which was hell. And I liked the idea of this is how they see each other. So when Flask looks in the mirror, this is Azazel. And like I said, Azazel's been through some fucking shit, so he looks really sad in this picture. But Flask is such a happy, positive guy. So when Flask looks in the mirror, this is what he sees of Azazel. And then vice versa, when Azazel looks in the mirror, this is what he sees, a happy Flask. So I really liked that idea of them, because especially Azazel had a lot of resentment for Flask, because once again, Flask was everything he wasn't. Azazel went through some really traumatic shit. And this quote right here that you can't really see, but it says, "Am I real?" Which was a big problem for Azazel. So I like this idea of that they see each other as opposites. And especially for Azazel, he sees Flask being all happy, and that's what he wants. So this was hell to make. Absolutely hell. I do have a video on it, though. Now we're getting into the last couple of spreads. So these last couple of spreads I did not make videos for. I did them in the US. So since we're kind of closing out with all the Shattered Memories characters again, by this point, these two players had already left the campaign, but I still wanted to do an homage to their characters, and I had leftover pictures, because they were a big part of the campaign, and it was a lot of fun. So this is Anastasia and her picture of her Eladrin self reflected in the mirror. And I wrote, "Learn from your mistakes." Because she never did that, ever. She always just kept fucking up. And she would sometimes try to fix it, but a lot of times she'd try to place the blame on other things. And I put a butterfly here because Anastasia always had a huge fucking crush on Sylvia, even pre-campaign. So I really like the way this one turned out. I like the highlight on the letters a lot. And then over here we have Killian, and I put this here. This Love's Old Sweet Song is the title, because Killian went to a wishing well and wished for her partner back. But she wasn't specific about her wish, so her partner came back, but he had no memories of her. So that's why it's all kind of bloody and ripped up. And we've got some plants here, because Killian also loves plants and music. And then here, in this envelope, if I can get it out, we have a piece of paper that's all messed up. And it's actually a quote from Killian. And it says, "This radio static, it's like having a million sinnahs in your head at once. They all want different things. Louder ones say you shouldn't trust people, that this won't last." It says a lot of things. So that's why it's also kind of bloody and ripped up, because that was obviously the main conflict for Killian throughout the campaign. And I think she was talking to Kaze when she said that quote. Kaze and Killian were actually really good friends throughout the campaign. Then we have the last couple of spreads. So this one is from the very beginning of the campaign, and this one was kind of at the end of the year. So this one is called the Seashell Pals, and it's Killian and Sylvia and Flask at the beach collecting seashells. It was a really tender and sweet moment, and I used ink to kind of imitate the, the actual image itself, which I think turned out really well, and there's a little seashell there. And this quote says, "Happiness is enjoying the little things in life." And then over here, like I said, this is kind of the end of the year. This is the New Year's festival. We've got Killian, Sylvia, Kaze, and Azazel, and I cut him out. Sorry, Flask, but there was a little invisible Flask over here. And the theme of the New Year's festival was the ocean, so there were manta rays and whales in the sky, so I imitated that with the stickers, and I tried to make these gemstones look like fireworks, which I think came out pretty well. And then the last two spreads, this is the first ever picture, like, not first ever picture, this is their first ever moment together. This is when they woke up under the tree. So, let me turn a little bit, because it's a little distorted. Let's see if this will work. There we go. So we have Killian, Sylvia, Flask, Anastasia, and Azazel all together. This was an anniversary picture that Yelhsa made. And then down here, I made this wax seal out of the autumnal colors. And the quote says, "When nothing is sure, everything is possible." And then the last page in this is kind of like an homage page. Sylvia. Yelhsa made this. Yelhsa made this picture, which kind of looks like a Christmas card. It was made for Christmas, I think. And so what I did was I made wax melts that look like the aesthetics of each one of them. So that's Sylvia, that's Flask's, that's Anastasia's, and then you open it up, and we have Kaze's down here, we have Azazel's, and we have Killian's. And then so what I did on the inside was I just wrote down all of their classes that they were by the end of the year. So we have Sylvia, Twilight Domain Cleric, Anastasia, Assassin Rogue, Killian, Great Old One Warlock, Pact of the Talisman, Flask, Alchemist Artificer, Azazel, Wild Magic Sorcerer. Oops, I never told y'all he was a sorcerer. Kaze, Samurai Fighter, and then I just put Shattered Memories. So yeah, the last couple of pages I'm making quote pages, because I just thought that'd be fun to write down the funniest quotes and use up this last couple of pages of space, but I'm not done with that quite yet. But yeah, this is it, y'all. This is it. This is the journal. I fucking finished it. Can you believe it? I can't. Look at this monster. And as a sneak peek preview, I'm gonna show you the new journal, which is this one that Yelhsa once again designed for me and ordered for me. Thank you. She got me a much bigger one because she knew I was going to use this for art journaling. And I'll give you a sneak peek of the spreads that have already been done. So first off, we have this New Year's spread. We have the New Year's picture of Kaze, Darius, and Sylvia in their New Year's outfits. And then we actually have the group Gold Serpent picture, which I love. I love this group picture. And this little clock down here is Kaze's clock that he bought, named Clockster. She can talk and shit. She's absolutely insane and loves Uno. So this is like the group picture, and I love it. It's so sweet. I don't know. It's just because Golden Serpent was such a big part of Kaze's life, so seeing them all together just makes my heart beat. And this quote says, "Thank you for being a big part of my life." These two pictures don't have a video because I did this in the US. Now this one does have a video. This is the next couple spread, Kaze and Genesis. Oh, I wanted to do this for so long. We have this picture that Genesis painted of Kaze as a bird and Jen as a bird on a branch. He was so embarrassed of this, he almost didn't give it to Kaze. But Kaze loved it. And then down here we have a quote that says, "Darling, you are a work of art," which kind of feels like something Kaze would say. And then we have music down here because Jen is teaching Kaze how to play piano. And then over here we have this picture, the couple picture. This was the day that Kaze fell in love with Genesis, was on this gondola ride. And so I kind of have like the moon up here and the stars trying to reflect the image. They wrote a lot of letters to each other when they were apart. This quote says, "I feel so lucky," which just feels like something Genesis would say. And then this down here is the confession letter that Kaze wrote to Genesis, which says, "That time we were in the gondola and you painted me while I was reading. I didn't know it then, but that moment of us existing together, floating on the water, away from everyone, as if nothing could ever hurt us again. That's when I fell for you." Cheesy. So yeah, this is their page. And then this one unfortunately also does not have a video. The Kaze and Jin one will, not out yet, but it will be soon. This one doesn't, unfortunately. I did this one in the US as well. But this is Summer Sylvia. So for the first time, she, being an Eladrin, changed her form. So we have her femme form over here, and then we have her mask form. We also did a lot of different iterations of her mask form. So we have this one, and then we have this one with the braid, and then we have this one, which Sylvia ended up changing into for Kaze's birthday. So they would match a little bit more. And I love the spread. I love all the little gemstones. I think it matches Sylvia very well. I love the sun symbolizing summer and this kind of green summery picture. This sticker. It's very fun. It's very Sylvia. Love this paint sample that says Monarch Wing, and then over here Temptation, because almost everybody loves Mask Summer Sylvia. Granted, we have a lot of gay people in the campaign, but yes. So I love this washi tape. I love how it turned out. But yeah, that's it so far. Thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait to share this journal with y'all and go on this adventure with y'all of starting a whole new journal. I've got tons of pictures to journal about, and you'll actually get to see some of the side campaigns that Yelhsa and I do, such as more T-Lats, more of the characters that exist in the T-Lats universe, and also our other side campaign called Blood and Blooms, which centers around Akash and Darius 30 years ago, which is very exciting. Got tons of that. And then just more of the side characters in Lucille and in the Shattered Memories world. So, very excited to share it with you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching this video, or if you watch the no commentary version, or if you've watched any of my art journaling videos, thank you so much. Let me know what your favorite spreads are. I'd love to hear. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video, which should be the Kaze Jin video. Love you very much, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.